Well, hey, good morning, folks, from up here in Kingfield, Maine. It is, July something, 21st. Hot morning this morning up here. It's hot everywhere, but it's even hot in Maine. It's going to be 90 degrees today. Hey, I got one I wanted to show this morning. I just listed it yesterday, and I forgot to put the video up, so I'm going to make one now. This is a 1920s or 30s, not really sure, parlor made in Chicago. I'm kind of trying to pinpoint this down between being an Oscar Schmidt or maybe a Regal or Harmony. It does have the star inlay on the headstock, so sort of like a Stella kind of build. When I got a hold of it, it was all stripped already and there was no markings inside. But I'm going to call it an Oscar Schmidt, and for one reason, and the original fretboard had the 5, 7, 10 markings. Excuse me. I know Regal did that as well, so it could be a Regal. Real popular right around the turn of the 20th century. Oscar Schmidt carried it on apparently longer than most people, like well into the 20s. And it has some of the characteristics, you know, the binding and the purfling seemed like that was possibly what it was. But all in all, a very interesting, old, very lightweight little parlor guitar. Now, like I said, when I got it, this thing was already stripped. Someone had started working on it. The neck was taken off. Fretboard extension was broken. It was in pretty rough shape. But the thing that really caught me was that the top is absolutely intact. There are no cracks, and you almost never see that on these old things. Usually, at least there's something down here or maybe running between the sound hole and the bridge. The other thing that was really cool was this back. This is, I believe, yellow birch. And because it was stripped and had no stain on it, it really showed off this cool color of the heartwood section, which is kind of the, you know, the dead core of a log, and then the live section. And usually they stain these real dark and cover them all up. And in fact, my luthier mentor, the guy that's sort of taken me under his wing, tells me that a lot of the old Gibsons that are often represented as maple are actually yellow birch. Has a very similar grain pattern and hardness and density. I've got a 1922 Gibson L4 that he swears to me is yellow birch, even though when I bought it, I was told it was maple. And I'm not going to deny it. He knows a lot more about it than I do. But anyway, I just thought the color pattern was unreal. So I said, I'm not going to cover that back up. I'm just going to seal it and make it shiny. This has had my Resto-Mod treatment. This has scalloped 1/4-inch X bracing, one tone bar across the belly, a very thin maple bridge plate, about 1/10 of an inch thick. It's got a brand new rosewood bridge. It has a brand new fretboard, fingerboard. This is Zeracoat. It's a South American wood that I really love the figuring on it. I think it's got sort of a combination of Brazilian rosewood or Macassar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Ebony. It's got a really nice figure, really dark and hard, and it always just sort of has a sort of vintage, you know, dull patina when I use it. I installed gold frets on that. I bound the fretboard as well as replacing all the binding around the body because I had to have the back off anyway to do all that bracing work inside. And I decided that some brand new off-white vintage binding would look awful nice. Have some 50s or so era Kluson style 3-on-a-strip tuners up top. New bone saddle, all new bridge pins. And my own personal touch, this is a nut made out of Maine moose antler. I've been putting that on a few guitars lately. It's really hard. I did a bunch of Wikipedia searching, and apparently the density of it is just as hard as cow bone. And I left a little bit of bark there on the edge to kind of show the, you know, edge of what the antler looked like. But all in all, I'm pretty pleased with this. This has an 1 13/16 nut, 2 1/4-inch string spacing, so it's a very nice fingerstyle player. And I just wanted to play a few chords and do a couple of little finger riffs. It's first thing in the morning. My hands are a little stiff, so please forgive my playing, but I figured I'd get everybody a sound for what it sounds like. The flat pick, just very... got a lot of bark for such a small body. Very comfortable finger style because the string spacing's so nice, even my fumbly fat fingers don't really flub. Intonation is great, spot on from 0 to 12. I mean, it's just... When I put it on a digital tuner, it's just within a cent or two of right on. And I always like doing this one just to hear that intonation, because if the upper G chord doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound right. There it is. If you get one that's sour, that B string a lot of the time just gets nasty there. Anyway, thanks for looking. 1920s or 30s. Again, I'm not 100% sure. Spruce top, yellow birch back and sides, parlor size O, something like that. Very good condition, I'd call it. X-braced Resto-Mod. Thanks for looking.